A chocolate milk cup out the way. Hey, everybody. Hey, Alita. Got all my people. Zaline, good to see you. Okay. All right, I'm still pulling everything together. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. So this lesson tonight is personal. Hey, Quintina. And I had a week, where I had to be okay with the seeds that were sown. And I am so grateful to say that I was mentally successful. All right, let me get this out of the way. Hold on, guys. I'm just getting everything together. All right, here we go. Well, kind of, sort of. I got to do the slide and then stop the slide. And oh, no, that's not what I was supposed to do. Escape. All right. How do I do this? How did I do it last time? Let's give me such drama with this. Okay, well, you guys may see the inner workings of the PowerPoint, but I'm really excited for tonight's lesson. Hey, Robert, welcome. This chapter, it's so powerful. I really wanted to do it in 2 parts because I just felt that it was too much information to dump into one night. And I want to break it up. And tonight, all we're just going to talk about is what is the law of cause and effect and how do we see it playing out. And we're going to deal with some of the issues that people have around cause and effect. Because this is one of those like red pill, blue pill, like, you know, either you on the fence or you off the fence. There's like really no in between. Like people aren't neutral about this law. You know, they're not neutral about in their feelings about it. So the question that we are going to ask tonight and ask ourselves is, why you are the cause of all that happens to you and what you can do about it. Why you are the cause of all that happens to you. And I know people have been through some stuff. There's been molestation and rape and being at near death. And so we're going to talk about being at cause at every step along your life. So let's go. Let's have fun with this. Okay, so hopefully this will come out right and you guys will be able to see it. So I just want to take a pulse, just kind of get a sense of where everybody is. I want to know how you feel about the idea that you are 100% responsible for your life. How do you feel about that? Just give 60 seconds and would love to hear your comments. Where do you sit with that? What does that mean to you that you are 100% responsible for all that happens to you? Is this like a Rev Sherri, you can take that and toss it? Or, oh yeah, I'm on board with that. Or I'm going to guess nobody's just on the fence about it. They really are kind of either or. You got 30 seconds. When you hear someone say that you are 100% responsible for all that happens to you, how do you feel about that? Where does that sit with you? There we go. That's what I was looking for. Where is that for you? Ray says, I can accept it and I'm trying to own it. Okay. Yes. Those of you in the chat room, where do you sit with that? Time is up. Where do you sit with that? Quintina says, sometimes I'm not so sure about it. I do know that my thoughts become things. Okay. All right. Let's hold on to that. Anybody else? Let me go back to the chat room. Constance says it's empowering, delighted, awed, amazed, starstruck that I am stardust in action. Took a minute to get there, but love it. Okay, I like that, stardust in action. If you see that somewhere in writing, I'll try to remember to say Constance and Leonard credit. Myra, what about you?
I'm embracing it slowly.
Slowly but surely. Yes.
Yeah.
Andrea says, I'm on board most of the time, but I have a little trouble when it comes to infants. She said, I'm on board when it comes to me. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Alita says, I think I'm 98%. Yeah. 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 And that's really where people fall down. They're like, well, wait a minute. What about the kids in Africa? What about the babies that have been molested? And, all of that comes into it. And he actually has some thoughts about that. Joe says, I now know knowing this will free me. And Bev says, responsible in the way that I must be open to the messages that God sends me and make choices that God wants. Yes, I am responsible for listening. Yes, 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 we are. That is the truth. Okay, cool. Well, let's dive into this because this lesson challenged me to write it. So I can imagine this is gonna be fun for you too. So outline, got a couple of announcements, opening prayer. We're going to talk about why universal law matters for you. And we're going to look at the fact that you are always at cause and then what you can do about it. And then Q&A. So know your why. One of the things that is important to me and why no matter what is happening in my life, it is important for me to show up. It is my mission to wake up as many people as possible to their innate divinity and inspire them to live from it. I love this walk. It is challenging. Today proved that. Last couple of days proved that, but it's worth it. It really, 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 really is. And so my hope is that that you see this and really grasp that there is not just something special about you, but that you're meant for something, that you're meant for a purpose and an intention, and that it's not haphazard that you're here, meaning not just here in the Bible Hangout, but here on the planet, that you are here for a reason, and that it is imperative that you get into communication with the God of your being so that you may grasp that, so that you may live intentionally, create intentionally. Alita says, how do the people in my house affect me? Okay, that's a very good question, and we will definitely dig into that. Yes, Quintina, I will be at POT. Oh, she took a message back. Well, next week I'll be at POT. So the Bible Hangout is free, but it does cost to produce it. And so if this blesses you, if you want to see this expand, I ask that you consider making a gift. You can do that right at my website, revsherri.com. And a gift of any size is greatly appreciated. And I thank you in advance. You guys have been extremely generous, and I'm really grateful. And I thank you for the support that you give, because it does make this doable, and I appreciate it. The way that this series works, there's a blog, there's the Bible Hangout, and then I created something called the Universal Law Library that's user-generated content. And I am so excited about this week's goodie that I put in there. So, I always pay attention to what the Spirit brings, because it lets me know where I am. It gives me... they're like the little surprises that God gives me. So this last week, I came across, it was after Tuesday, so I didn't send it last Tuesday, but I was so tempted to, because it was so good. I came across this book called Dollars Want Me, written in 1903. When you read it, you will hear Reverend Ike. Like, that this is somebody that he read. And it's called Dollars Want Me, and it's Henry Harrison Brown is the author. And it's in there, it's free, it's a PDF as well as an audiobook. And I love this book. I love this book. So I was so excited. I was almost tempted to send it earlier, but I didn't. I got a hold of myself. and it's in the Universal Law Library. The only way to get in the library is to be on the mailing list. So if you sign up for the mailing list, you'll be able to access all of that good, juicy information. Next month, I am going to be speaking at two events. One is the Fillmore Festival that will be at the Unity Church of Tidewater in Virginia Beach. And then that Saturday, I'll be speaking at the 2017 Metaphysical Bible Gathering. So honored to be there. So honored to just be in this whole mix, this whole inclusion. And shout out to Mark Hicks, who founded it and put it together. And I'm excited to be one of the speakers. If you're in the Virginia Beach area, I would love to see you. I will probably broadcast the Bible Hangout from Virginia Beach, which means I've got to go in early enough. So I'll be able to do lunch and coffee and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're in the Virginia Beach area, I'd love to do a meetup. The money poems. So let me tell you about this book, right? So I'm so proud of this book and just really excited for it, and I encourage you to add it to your library. What is really great and what I am interested in is helping people overcome financial stress, right? That it's one of the things that I feel like I do well, not 100 with it, but I feel like I do well, is being able to put forth my best effort even under pressure. And so this book is about that, because so much is changing in our economy right now. We've got the rise of the gig economy. We have, which is basically people working gigs like Uber and Lyft and TaskRabbit and Airbnb and things like that in order just to make ends meet, meaning this is how they're putting together their full-time income. And this is affecting about 50% of the workforce in the US, in the UK. And I just read an article in the Atlantic about Japan that literally their birth rate is at the lowest rates historically. And they attribute it to what's happening in the economy, because the young people are coming out and the only jobs they can get are things like the Japanese equivalent of like a Uber or TaskRabbit or whatever. And so what this book is really about is about how do you keep your head in a situation where there's so much change and there's so much flux. And so I really encourage you to get a copy, and then I ask that you write a review, because I'm working on a larger launch for the book, and what you say about the book will help somebody else be able to discern whether or not it's for them. And so, of course, I want a great review, but honestly, I want an honest review. And so I thank you in advance for doing that. The scripture for this series is, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill." And that's Matthew 5:17. And if we could just take a moment to just relax and just be in this space of oneness with our Creator, that we recognize that there is something special that is breathing itself as us. And even if we have not always been aware of it or had a name for it, we knew that there was something deep down in our soul. And we have come together for the purpose of connecting to one another, of feeling what that presence feels like, and then getting quiet enough to listen to the urges that it places in our hearts. We each have a divine assignment, and my prayer is that this class helps you to fulfill that divine assignment, that it points you back to the Christ of your being, the real self, which is who you really are. I bless this class, I bless this conversation, and I give thanks that the Father will say something through me to you to help you overcome. In the name and nature of Jesus the Christ, it is so, and so it is. So why universal law matters for you? Well, here's the thing. Nothing happens in our world or to us that isn't the unfoldment of universal law. Now, it is possible And I think that this is definitely probably where people get off the fence, right? And say, you know what, I can't go with this universal law thing. It is possible for you to sow seeds that you unconsciously sow. But the thing is that how God does anything is how God does everything. So whatever God has ever given us is perpetual. It doesn't have a beginning point. So I think it was Andrea that says, you know, with infants and babies, that the power of choice, there's no like switch with, like, it doesn't like, you know, you turn 18 and then there's a switch, right? And okay, oh, power of choice is turned on. Now I'm now responsible for my choices. At every step along the way, you are making choices, and the choices that you are making are pointing you in a particular direction. And well, I think this is what should be taught in school, that your choice, meaning like it should be a class, not just like your teachers tell you when you make a mistake, but that you are taught from the time that you are a baby that I am responsible for my choices. I'm responsible for my choices. I'm responsible for my choice. My choices are taking me somewhere. Inside of a given day, does it make a big difference? No. But what happens is we begin to choose in a particular direction. The thing is, it only takes one day to get off track with a discipline. It only takes one day to get off track, and then you got to do all the work to get back on track. So there's nothing that comes into our experience that did not show up outside of an unfoldment of universal law. That this is how things come into expression. Let's back it up a little bit, because when we're talking about ourselves as human beings, that's really hard to grasp. There is not a piece of chicken that you have eaten that, even if it was sped up with hormones, that did not unfold according to spiritual law. There were, actually, I don't know how chickens mate, but something happened with the chicken. Oh, they lay the eggs. Sorry. Don't. Okay. Oh, God. Forgive me. I had to think about it for a second. Anyway, the point is that drumstick you ate tonight came by one way and one way only. Here, let's take it off of animals, because, you know, animals mating, that's not what you talk about in the Bible study. There is not an apple that you have eaten that did not come by way of an apple tree. And there's not one apple that you have had that did not follow a process to become the apple in your hand that you are eating, because it unfolds. Now, as humans, we have experimented with our food supply, sometimes really in dangerous ways, you know, where we've genetically modified it, but none of the genetic modification has gotten rid of the seed process, the seed being planted, germinating, and then growing into an apple tree that then produces apples. So there's no, now, if God made it so that you cannot escape this in the physical universe, and God is this exacting, faithful, unchanging energy intelligence source, why would there be a departure in the mental realm when it applies to us? That's the question we have. That why would there be a departure with a faithful God that never changes? With every rose, no matter what's, you know, I love my numbers of roses and species and things like that, because I'm just impressed with just how many different species there are. But all the different 2,000 species of roses have all come into being in the same way. If they're going to grow and come above ground, they have showed up the same way. So why would a God that is that painstakingly exact with the physical world be different as far as how creation happens with the mental world. And so this power of choice has no beginning and it has no end. It does not turn on when you're 18 and turn off when you leave the body. So that, from 0 to 18, you just kind of fall outside the spectrum, right? That's just not how God works. It's not like baby apples aren't subject to the same physical laws as adult apples. They both, it's a process in terms of how they come about, even when something is genetically modified. So the thing is that you're always at cause. And even though I've said what I've said, I bet that there are probably some people who are still saying, nah. And that's okay, because those who tend to believe, they seem fanatical, and those who do not seem defensive. But it doesn't change the fact that you are always at cause. That's it. You are always at cause. So for every effect, there is a cause. And so I guess let me just take a pulse on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, Reverend Sherri, get on out of here with that, or 10 being, yeah, girl, I see it. Now that you didn't tell me about the apples, where do you fall in your belief in the law of cause and effect as a permanent, intractable reality? Where are you in that process? Kaza says 10. Andrea says, how about from the time babies exit the womb? Listen, girl, you can dial it back however you want to dial it back. I'm just saying, if those apples show up, they have showed up one way and one way only. And this painstaking exact God that never changes. It's like we have songs, hold to God's unchanging hand, right? Zelene says 9, Alita says 9, and Myra says 9. I got your text, Myra. Andrea says 9. Beverly says 10. Christina says 9. The law is the law is the law. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes. Cool. All right. So let's talk about what you can do about it. So first, we just need to kind of get a grasp on what is the law of cause and effect. And what it says, just simply stated, is that for every effect, there is a cause. Nothing just happens. Right? Every effect has a cause. Whether you can easily identify that cause or not, there is one. And Edgar Cayce calls it, he says that we live in a causation world. But I want to be clear that he is speaking of the mental world, that the real world is a mental reality. The physical world is but an effect. The real world is a mental reality. The physical world is but an effect. And the early New Thought pioneers, they would refer to our world as the realm of cause, that nothing happens in our world or to us personally. It never happens by itself or without a cause. And so the kicker, I guess good news and I guess not so good news, is that you are the cause. And so no fault, no hurt comes to you except that you have created your consciousness in your inner self, the cause. And so one of the things to just take a moment and do is just relax about it and embrace the moment. Because I don't want to sound dogmatic, but whether you accept it or not, it doesn't change the experience of it. It doesn't change it's like, okay, whether you accept gravity or not, if you go ahead and walk off a building, you'll find out what gravity does. So in that same way, universal law, or the law of cause and effect, works in the same way. It's like whether you agree that it is true or not, it's still operating in your experience. And so you may be in the midst of an experience. I may be in the midst of an experience where I cannot put my hand on the exact cause. And meaning, why would I choose these parents, or why would I choose this experience, this? And it's just to sit and say, okay, if I have 100% responsibility then I also have 100% unlimited opportunity to do something about it, to change. I'm not stuck. That I can make a difference in this experience, even though this is the experience right now. And if I can simply relax and detach from the experience of it, then I can listen and hear for the direction and the way out of it. Because even though there may be a puzzle that you're trying to solve in your life, it's not a puzzle to God. That there's a beautiful song by Yolanda Adams that says, "Step aside." And there's a lot of lyrics, but one of the lyrics that always resonated with me and gave me comfort is that this didn't catch God by surprise. Like, you might be caught by surprise by this experience, but whatever it is that you're going through did not catch God by surprise. And so when I find myself in that space where I have forgotten the truth, where I have, not remembered that I am at cause and that I do have power over this experience, and it feels like I don't, that step aside. And when you relax, that's what you do. I take my hands off. I relax. And in my life today, this is almost kind of sort of a daily prayer, that I just relax. I surrender. I let this go. I don't know all the way. I don't know all the lessons I'm supposed to get in this moment right here. But I am, as Beverly talked about, listening, that I'm listening as deeply as I know how to listen. And I'm affirming it, conditioning the mind. I'm affirming it that I'm listening. I'm listening. Speak. You have my attention, God. Speak. So some of dealing with the law of cause and effect is just to relax, to just be in the space where I don't need to figure everything out. I don't need to know the answer to every question. That there is a wisdom in me that does know what to do, and that I can listen for my way out or my way beyond this moment. Place no blame, elicit no guilt. I think that our tendency to blame and guilt others for the things that happen to us keeps us from fully accepting the law of cause and effect. Because we would rather blame our problems and failures on our parents or spouse or the government or some other organization or condition. And we come with dozens of reasons to explain why things happen as they did, but none of those reasons includes an acceptance of personal responsibility. And so you may need to just forgive yourself for the things that you have created that you didn't realize you were creating, or things that you have done that you now regret. What you want is freedom from this experience. And the challenge with the placing blame and the guilt, it puts you on the treadmill of recurring experiences. So as long as it's somebody else's fault, I never have to own my part in this process. As long as it is someone else who did this to me, then I never have to adjust my behavior. And the thing about experience is that when the universe is trying to communicate a lesson to you, and this is the grade, I'm using a school analogy, this is the grade that you're in, that exam will keep coming back around until you go ahead and study and pass it. And you've seen that with other people where someone that it's like they're in a cycle and they just keep repeating the same kinds of behavior over and over and over again. And it's easy to see, especially when the behavior is extreme. But the thing is that we all do it because we all at some point want to say that somebody else is the reason that things are the way that they are. There is a young lady, her name is Michaela DePrince, and her story is so remarkable. I shared it with a group of girls that I mentored a few weeks ago with the Diamond and the Raw. Michaela DePrince dances today for the Royal Dutch Ballet, but she was born in Sierra Leone during the time of Civil War. Her father was killed in the Civil War. She and her mother went to live with the uncle, and I'm assuming this is the brother's uncle, but honestly, I don't know. But she went to live with her uncle. The uncle was so mean to them, he literally starved them, and the mother ended up dying of starvation. And then Michaela was put in an orphanage. Hold on. Michaela was put in an orphanage, and she has vitiligo. And so when you see pictures of her and she doesn't have makeup on, you can see the pigmentation is receding in the skin. That's what the vitiligo is. And she has vitiligo. And so while she's at the orphanage, the other kids, the directors, they tell her she's too ugly to be adopted. They call her the devil child because of the vitiligo. But one day she is standing at the gate of the orphanage, and a magazine cover blows in and knocks her in the face. And on the front of the magazine is a picture of a dancer on point. And the dancer looks so beautiful and happy. And Michaela later says that's what stood out to her. She held on to that picture. The day she was 4, the day that she was going to be adopted, that she ultimately was adopted, she was so nervous about not being adopted that she threw up on her dress. But Elaine DePrince from New Jersey ended up adopting her anyway. And not having any language, but having this picture, she hands this picture to her adoptive mom, as if to say, I want to do this. And so when they get back to the States, the mom arranges to put her in ballet lessons, and she just continues to excel and to excel and to excel. And today she is I think she's a principal with the Royal Dutch Ballet. And one of the things that she said is that if you can get over the bad stuff, life can be really good. And sometimes we hold on to the bad stuff that has happened to us, blaming somebody else. I don't know why these choices were made, but I do know that universal law is bringing me this experience so that I may do something with it and become better than the best that I am right now. And if I can grasp what is great and good, or just good about this moment and about where I've been and what I've come through, then I can take all of that good and walk into my destiny. But as long as I am blaming somebody else and what somebody else did, my destiny stays off in the distance. I don't know about you, but I want my destiny. I want my fits. I want the things that are uniquely mine to express in this universe. That the little bit that I've been able to express, this joy that I get from sharing with you guys, that I know that there is a bigger version of that, right? I want that. I want that more than I want to blame whomever for whatever. I want that. I want that experience far more than I want to hold on to where I've been. Well, I thought this picture was interesting because this is what life looks like when you place blame and evoke guilt. And you just on the treadmill, and you're going through the same experiences, and life just has no joy, and you're frazzled because it's the same stuff that comes up over and over and over again. So I want to talk about how to exit the treadmill of repeating experiences. And that is to realize that nothing happens by chance. Nothing happens by chance. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for a law not recognized. Hear that. Chance is but a name for a law not recognized. That's the only thing chance is. And so there are many planes of causation but nothing escapes the law. And so the thing that you must do is to make a decision, because nothing changes if nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And so it is time for a change. And you have to make a declaration. You must decide within yourself that enough is enough. In the famous words of Fannie Lou Hamer, civil rights activist, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I included a video in today's blog post that I think will inspire you. I know I did. Lisa Nichols telling the story of hitting rock bottom. And rock bottom for her was when she needed to purchase Pampers for her son, but only had $11.92 in the bank, and went to the ATM, but you have to withdraw in $20 increments. And so for a weekend, her son has to basically urinate and defecate in a towel. And she said, I remember him laying on the bed and me putting my hand on his tummy and rubbing him and saying, Mommy will never be this broke again. But there was this moment of, I'm done with this. She shared a statement that her grandmother gave her. She said, the thing about conviction and comfort is that being comfortable and having conviction, they don't live on the same street. That if you're going to be convicted about something, meaning driven, ambitious inside, moving towards something, then you can't be comfortable, because you're constantly moving into places of the unknown. But if you're going to be comfortable, then you're going to have to settle for not being convicted about anything. And somehow we want to have the dream and comfort, and those two things just really don't go together. And so you have got to decide that I am coming off the treadmill of repeating experiences. I'm making a decision today. I'm not looking for, as she says in the video, I am my own rescue. As Reverend Mary taught, that the hand that's going to save you is at the end of your own arm. You keep looking for Superman, and she said the Superman is you. And so you need to get up and do for yourself. And the thing is that that's the only time that is worth it. When someone else gives it to you, always in the back of your mind is this belief that I couldn't do it for myself. And it eats away at you. It erodes your own confidence. So it's just to get up and put one foot in front of the other. Put one foot in front of the other. Keep going. God will make a way. Keep one foot in front of the other. That was a little song I made up today, because this lesson is, I'm telling you, this lesson is personal to me. It's keep one foot in front of the other. Keep one foot in front of the other. Keep one foot in front of the other. God will make a way. And so you just walk. Walk. Keep going. Keep taking forward steps. Every forward step that you know to take, keep taking it. You will move out of where you are. Constance says, when I think of the road I have traveled, Lord have mercy. I am so glad that I was led to this truth, and through the years I have freed myself from the past experiences, and I am so grateful knowing I can create new ones. Holla at me, Jesus. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It is about owning the power that is within you. Quintina says, when we can forgive ourselves and others, our life begins to change. Yes. Joe says, when I was willing to let go of resentment, I was sent people to act as mirrors and everything I needed to move on. So everything can be traced to a choice. Everything can be traced to a choice. Through the laws of attraction, you were drawn to earth and to the place, position, race, family, and parents through which your needs could be met. Many times the families that we have come through are there to help you fulfill a soul need. The creator does nothing haphazardly. As we have seen, apples always become apples the same way. Roses always become roses the same way. People always become people the same way. And so a lot of people will declare, well, I didn't choose this, or this child didn't choose these circumstances. And my question is that in a universe where we have been given free choice, where does that free choice begin and end? And how is it that a universe that operates according to perpetual unchanging law would manage to create a condition that operated in certain situations and not in others? If you have ever had the power of choice, you always have the power of choice. Now, you may unknowingly make choices that lead to circumstances you wouldn't consciously choose, but we've all done that. In a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law, every experience arrives because of an invitation. No invitation means no experience. And so the thing is to realize that every experience comes to develop you. And the question to ask, right, is what did you come to teach me? What did you come, whatever it is that you are facing right now, what did you come to teach me? Jim Rohn says, don't get frustrated, get fascinated. And I found this little meme that I thought was so cute. It said, get curious, not furious. Ask yourself, what else can this mean? How might this be a good thing in disguise? There's something, see, being frustrated is a stopper. Being frustrated shuts down your hearing, meaning on every level, external and internal hearing. Being frustrated paralyzes you. But being fascinated opens your eyes. It brings your imagination into play. And so when you are looking at an experience, you want to ask yourself, what did this come to teach me? What are you here for? What quality are you trying to draw out of me? And if you really want to get down on it, this is the Catherine Ponder technique. Whatever it is, I love you. Whatever it is, I love you. Whatever it is, I love you. Because love is the transforming power of the universe. And love will transform even the hardest heart. I love you. Now, that's easier said than done. You know, you got to be on your game with this, right? You can't just come at this thing, half-hearted. You got to really, really, really have some fortitude up in you, right? Because somebody might be coming at you with a level of attitude like they know more than you, or they're better than you, or they're going to put you in your place. And I love you. But let's say you can't go to love, right? Let's say love is just too far of a stretch. It's like, Rev Shay, you out your mind, right? Okay, let's say it's too far. That's like, you're doing too much, right? Then just get curious. What did you come to teach me? What do you want to bring out of me? What quality within me am I being asked to develop? And then listen. Those coworkers there's always somebody. There's always somebody that is convinced that they know what you should be doing in your job, right? You've got your job description, but somehow they're expert on your job description and how you should be doing your job. And it's just to get curious. It's like, what did you come to teach me? Patience? Did you come to teach me compassion? Did you come to teach me non-judgment? What did you come to teach me? Constance says, when I can't get past something, I listen to the Oh, girl. Ho'oponopono. I don't know if I said that right. Ho'oponopono prayer.
Oh, Oponopono.
Wait, say it again.
Oh, Oponopono. Oh, Oponopono.
Ho'oponopono. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Ho'oponopono prayer. Okay, you have to like, can you say it?
It has music in the background, and what
Uh-huh.
it does is you get a person in mind or a situation, and you're just here and repeat, I love you, please forgive me, thank you, and there's one more. There's four little things that you say,
It
but
sure
you
is.
say it over and over. So it becomes
Yes.
like a little mantra, so that you have the person in mind or something like that, so you can move past that situation, or just infuse love in it, so that it soothes you,
Yes.
so I listen to that. It's a practice.
Yes. 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 I release you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, because Reverend Sherri gave us that prayer for one of the Lenten experience. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was the whole Ho'oponopono prayer, but it was I love you, I forgive you, I release you, thank you, or something like that. I don't remember the order, but okay, got it. So let me say it again. Or if somebody can Google it and post it, so we'll have it exact. So I'm not
Yeah.
just
I'm
guessing it.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Ah, that's it. I'm sorry. That was
Please
it. Yes.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.
I'm sorry. Please
Please
forgive me.
forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank
I love
you.
you.
Yes.
Got it. Yes. Yes. Beverly, that's exactly it. The whole Oponopono. I think you got it, but it's not double O though. I think it's Oponopono, something like that. Anyway, but it is, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And so you bring them to mind. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Woo, that's powerful. Powerful. Ha, ha. So get curious, not furious. So my question for you, and we'll do a little 60 seconds, and if you guys could chime in, where in your life can you get curious instead of furious? And I know for me, it would be in the area of my financial growth. I need to get curious instead of furious. Curious. What is this about? What is this for? Who is this for? What pattern am I creating? Where in your life can you get curious instead of furious? Let me see what y'all put in here. Constance says, curious in my financial growth, right with you. Yes. Yes. Praise him. Where in your life can you get curious instead of furious? 10 seconds. Where in your life can you get curious instead of furious? Anybody else? Where in your life can you get curious instead of furious? That's our time. Oh, Myra says, with my son.
Time for what?
Oh, no. No, the time, I do a 60-second timer. Yes. Where can you get curious instead of furious? Alita, I don't know that acronym. She says phi. Is that like fee, fi, fo, fum? Beverly says all the stuff I've collected over the years. Girl, amen. Clothes, books, papers. Yes. Olga says second that, finances. Quintina says with my daughter. Andrea says with my husband's habits. Amen, somebody. Okay, yes. Okay, got it. Money answers all things. That's a verse. That's a good, oh, I know this because I put it in my flashcards. It's Ecclesiastes. No, it's a proverb. Proverbs. Anyway, I have to look it up. All right. So the thing to remember is that the universe handles all the details. Now, we already talked about this in the, again, law of cause and effect, that we're in charge of our experience, but it's worth repeating that our job is to plant the seeds, cultivate the soil, plant the seeds, cultivate the soil, plant the seeds, cultivate the soil. We have no control, zero, over how or when the increase happens. That's not our domain. Expressed in the language of the Bible, you see 1 Corinthians 3:6, Paul says, I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the growth. Manifestation cannot happen without the intervention of God, but God cannot do his part until we have done our part by planting and watering. Now, here's the thing. We're always planting. We are always planting. If you can get, and I do it this way because I do want you to grasp this word picture, that within a day, we think 40 to 60,000 thoughts in the course of a day. This is what science tells us. Now, that's a lot. And if you imagine that each one of those thoughts is a seed that's being planted, then you realize it is that at the end of a day, some type of garden has been planted. Some type of garden has been planted. And the question that you have to answer for yourself is that, what type of garden have I planted? How have I spent the day? What kinds of thoughts have I entertained? Because the thing about the seed planting is that the course correction does not happen once a seed has been planted. It has to happen before the seed goes in the ground. And so that's why our job is the seed planting and the cultivating the soil. Thank you, Alita. It's Ecclesiastes 10:19. A feast is made for laughter, and wine makes merry, but money answers all things. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Once you set the pattern for your good, and you set it through the sowing and the cultivation of the soil, sowing the seed and cultivating the soil, that's how you set the pattern. Then the creative forces take over and do the work. And so our job at that point is to release the effort. Let it go. If you have had a bad day and you planted a bunch of seeds of sadness and discord, let it go. It's done. Don't spend any time. You can't dig the seeds up. That's not how this thing works. Just let it go. And like Snoopy, the little heart is floating away from him. Just let it go. Just release the effort and begin again, because you still have probably another 10,000 thoughts before you close your eyes tonight. And so at least make those your best effort. We have to work the law in the highest way possible. Think the best thoughts you know how to think. Feel the best feelings you know how to feel. Speak the best words you know how to speak. Act in the best manner you know how to act. Respond to life in the best way that you know how to respond. Every thought, word, and action sows a seed across the spiritual, mental, and physical planes of life. You cannot course correct once the seed is sown. You can only make a change to the seed before you plant it. And so what you want to do is pay attention to what's happening in the words that you're saying to yourself, the things that you are cultivating in your mind, because that's what's impacting the soil. What are you saying to yourself on a daily basis when things happen? What kinds of words are you speaking to yourself? Because that's what is determining what is being sown. So each of you mentioned the things we talked about, getting curious instead of furious. And so the thing that you want to say is, okay, Beverly, let me use you as an example. When I think about all the stuff that I've collected over the years, right? And whatever that makes you feel like, what kinds of words are you speaking about that? Because those words, that inner chatter about I don't know if you're dealing with a clutter thing or not, but right, or but the disorganization, whatever it is that you're saying about it is cultivating the soil around it. And so sometimes situations stay in our experience because we say the wrong things about situations that we want to change. Or, you know, Andrea, you said my husband's habits. What kinds of things are you saying to yourself about that? Because that inner chatter is cultivating the soil that you're sowing into. Does this make sense? Joe, when you think about where you're living, that, you know, not getting frustrated, but getting fascinated, not being furious, but curious, it is, how can I become curious about this experience? Or what am I saying about it? Or can I say something different about it so that I can change the soil into which I'm sowing? And I can give a better character to the seeds that I'm planting. We each have those areas. In terms of finances, this is my work. What are you saying about that area of your life? Are you spending time feeling bad about it, Sherri? Right? Because all of that is cultivating the soil. And so you take a seed of plenty, right? Because I'm doing my affirmations, right? And I get up in the morning, I got my money poem, and I do my money poem every day, and I journal and do my journaling on that. But I'm putting the seeds in the soil. Now, I don't know if you've had an unsweet apple or an unsweet watermelon, but you know it's possible to get some fruit is what you ask for, but it ain't got nothing sweet about it. And so, you know, you eat it and it's like, right? It's like, yeah, I wanted a peach, but I want the peach to be sweet. And so sometimes we're sowing seeds into soil, but the soil is not the best soil. And so that inner chatter is turning the soil. And so that we don't get back unsweet fruit, we'll get fruit, but so that it does not come back untasty. Let us be mindful of that inner chatter. Let us pay attention to what we're saying inside of ourselves. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Law never turns off. It's a 24-hour, it's like the news cycle, right? That 24-hour news cycle just, it reflects what actually is happening in our lives, which is that we have a 24-hour news cycle in our lives, in our heads. And so it's just to remember that it never turns off. And so as fast as I can shake off whatever I'm feeling, shake it off, because I have to get back to sowing intentionally. And so it's time to do something. And I talked about the inner chatter. And one of the things that I would suggest is to commit to memory those things that are worthy of repeating in your mind over and over again. You know, it used to be, this is back in the day, this is even before my day, where people would memorize Bible verses. And the thing about a memorized anything is that it's in your head. There are probably things now. In fact, let me tell you, I was riding to school. Apparently they changed the song. But we used to sing this song in kindergarten. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're all in our places with sunshine and faces. Good morning to you. Something like that, right? Well, apparently they changed the song, but whatever. The point is that I haven't sung that song in 40 years, at least. But it came back like that because it's in there. And so when Jordan was singing whatever the version of the song they sing today, which is just a whack version, they should be singing the one we sang, it immediately came back, and I was singing the song to him, and he was like, no, this is the way it go. Like, so my point is that the things that you memorize, they stay in you and they keep repeating themselves in you. And so if you take a verse like a feast is made for laughter, and wine makes merry, but money answers all things. Or the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Or, he who abides in the shadow of the Almighty. If you take these verses and anchor them in your heart and memorize them, then those are the things that get repeated in your head in those unguarded moments. Constance says, just a few things on my phone that listen to daily: 30-minute meditation, health, heal thyself, 500 positive affirmations, law of attraction meditation, beyond limitations, money poems. Hey, I am affirmations. I am prosperity affirmations. Louise, hey, manifest money now. I'm always pulling the earplug out saying, what you say? Val just shakes her head. She said, I want to be sure that I'm not leaving my thoughts to chance, and that I am consciously putting these things in there so that my subconscious is being retrained. Thank you for bringing that back to my awareness, because one of the things when I was sort of in my space today is that I constantly had some kind of positive video. And so even though I may have been in a mood, but I had some kind of positive video in my ear, I was listening to Jim Rohn about disciplining your thinking. Right. And then finally I was like, you know what, girl, you need some music. And I went to my homegirl, Beyonce, with Survivor, which is an excellent song when you want to change your mood. It's just, I'm not going to give up. Quintina says, it makes a lot of sense. Pay attention to what you're paying attention to. Yes. Yeah. She says, I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to work harder. Thought I would fail without you, but I'm on top. Woo. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then share this video. If this helped you, share this video with somebody who can benefit from this information. But thank you so much for tonight. Any questions? Any other questions? Oh, you can see that. I didn't realize that. Okay. I just realized something. Oh, thank you. As always, hot. Yay. Listen. Oh, maybe I could ask you guys, since you're going to be at POT, Andrea, Constance, those of you that are going to be at POT, what Bible story do you guys want? I'm teaching one of the Bible studies on a Saturday morning, and I was going to choose Elisha with the widow and the oil, and I was like, oh, I always choose that. Is there a Bible story that you guys want while we're in Jamaica? And you can email me. You may not have one on the top of your head. Anyway, next week we will finish the last half of the chapter 6, and I'll be doing it from Jamaica. So I may have to find like a public place where I have internet reception, and we can all, like, everybody who can come in the room can come in the room. But have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful night. Eve said, thank you for a great teaching as always. Thank you, Eve. Eve, you got to come to Jamaica. Andrea says, you presented a great argument for the newborn. I get it now. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Have a blessed night, and I will see you guys later. Take care. Myra says, thanks, Reverend Sherri, and enjoy POT in your upcoming conference. Yes, conference and the gang. We are going to Jamaica. Bye, y'all. Good night.